You ever take something, just because it's free, and realize too late, you were the payment? That's what happened to my family in the summer of 1998. Back then, I was 17, 5 months pregnant, and hiding from people who wanted to kill us for money my father owed. He died a few months earlier from drinking himself to death. We had nothing left. My mother, Han, used to be a military nurse during the war. She'd seen men die with holes in their heads, and yet, what we saw that night broke her. We took a bus from Saigon all the way down to Kimbo, to a small riverside town called Thot Nhat. A place so quiet, even the dogs didn't bark after dark. It was raining hard when we got off the bus. Thunder rolled over the Hao River, a wide brown current that smelled of mud and dead fish. We had nowhere to go. That's when she appeared. An old woman, standing under the flickering streetlight. Her umbrella was broken, her mouth red with beetle juice, that's a chewing leaf that stains your teeth blood red. She smiled at us. Too wide. Poor souls, she said softly. You can stay at my house. No rent. It's been empty, for 22 years. Mom hesitated. But the woman jingled a big, golden bracelet on her wrist. She looked rich. And when you're broke and cold and carrying a baby, free sounds like heaven. So we followed her. She led us down a narrow alley, a hem, that's what we call those tiny, dead-end paths behind villages. The air got thicker. The rain stopped. We came to a small brick house with a rusted tin roof and weeds swallowing the walls. This is it, she said, smiling with red teeth. My mother lived here. She doesn't like being alone. Her key was old, like a knife blade with teeth. When she unlocked the chain, the smell that hit me. God. It was like something long dead, but still warm. Inside, it was bare. No furniture, no altar, just a wooden shrine cabinet, taller than me, doors shut tight. In front of it sat a bowl of cold rice. On top of the rice was a pig's eyeball. Still wet. Still staring at the ceiling. My little brother T, 12, started shaking. He has epilepsy, fits where he screams and thrashes, so Mom rushed to hold him. My little sister Oud just stood there, mute as always. She's been unable to speak since birth. That night, we slept on the wooden floor. Rain dripped through the roof like slow breathing. I swear I heard footsteps, under the house. Like something crawling in the dirt below us. By morning, Mom said it was rats. But by the third day, even she couldn't deny it anymore. Food went cold within minutes, like someone had sucked the warmth out of it. Water boiled in the clay jar, even though there was no fire. At night, we'd hear a baby crying, under the floorboards. Soft at first. Then choking. Then silence. On the fourth day, I was washing clothes by the well behind the house. The air was hot, heavy with the smell of wet soil and banana trees. I looked down, and froze. There was a woman floating in the water. Face down. White hair spread like seaweed. Her neck, wrapped in her own hair. I screamed. Dropped the clothes. Ran inside. And there, sitting in our kitchen, was that same woman. Her back to me. Her head bowed. She was feeding my little sister spoonfuls of red rice. And Oud, my mute sister, was laughing. I froze in the doorway. The woman I'd just seen floating in the well, was now sitting in our kitchen. Her back was hunched. Her gray hair draped over her shoulders like wet rope. She held a bowl of rice, feeding my little sister, spoon by spoon. Eat, my dear, she whispered. Her voice cracked like dry wood. And Oud, my baby sister who hadn't spoken a word her entire life, was laughing. A wet, childish giggle. She chewed with her mouth open, red dripping down her chin. Maoi. I screamed, "Mom!" When Mom ran in, the chair was empty. No bowl. No rice. No woman. But the floor was soaked in muddy footprints. And the smell of the well, rotten leaves and cold water, hung in the air. Mom didn't speak. She just held Oot, who was now chewing on something soft and red. It wasn't rice. That night, T had another seizure. He thrashed so hard his head hit the wall. Between screams he gasped, "It's pulling my eyes, Mom, it's pulling my eyes." Mom prayed, whispering the Kin Dida, a Buddhist chant for the dead. But the words felt small inside that house. Like whispering into a hurricane. When the clock hit 2 in the morning, everything stopped. T lay still, foam around his mouth. The air went cold. And from the wooden shrine, the one with the locked doors, came a sound. A slow, tap, tap, tap. I wanted to run. But my legs didn't move. Mom grabbed her rosary beads, though she wasn't even Catholic. She just needed something to hold. Then came the voice. A whisper, crawling through the cracks in the walls. Chi Lin. It's cold in here. Stay with me. The next morning, we tried to leave. But when Mom opened the front door, it wouldn't budge. The chain outside had been locked again. From outside, through the window, I saw her. That same old woman, the one who'd offered us the house. Standing in the rain, holding the key. She smiled. Her eyes bulged, too round, too wet. "Don't worry," she said softly. "My mother just likes you. She's lonely." I remember her teeth. Red from beetle. Sharp from age. And behind her, I could see something moving. A shape crawling in the mud, dragging a long trail behind it. By the 5th night, Mom was praying constantly. She refused to sleep. The walls had started to breathe, I swear they pulsed, in and out, like lungs. At exactly 2:43 a.m., the wooden shrine shook. The chain on the door rattled like teeth. Then, the cabinet burst open. The woman stepped out. Except she didn't step. She crawled. Her hands slapped the floor. Her head hung down. Her neck bent at an angle no human neck should bend. Her hair swept the floor like a black mop. And from the hole in her forehead, a hole big enough to fit a fist, came a swarm of yellow wasps. They poured out of her skull, buzzing, dripping honey the color of blood. Mom screamed. She grabbed me and shouted, "Don't look." But I did. The woman's lips were sewn shut with barbed wire. Still, she smiled. Then, she reached for me. Her fingers slid into my belly. Cold. Wet. Careful. I didn't feel pain, just pressure, like someone stirring my insides. Then she tugged. I looked down. The skin of my stomach had split open like paper. And from inside me, something moved. The baby. My baby. It turned its head. And looked up at me. Its eyes were black. Its mouth stretched into a grin. It was smiling. Just like her. Mom yanked me away, screaming the great compassion mantra, a long Buddhist prayer she'd learned during the war. The whole house shook. The woman on the floor twisted her head backward. A full 180. And in a voice that wasn't hers, she spoke. "Stay here with me. Mother is happy when the house is full." The wasps swarmed around us. Their buzzing became words. 9. 9. 9. Mom dragged me, T, and Oot toward the door. Blood smeared across the floorboards. The woman crawled faster, her body bending in ways bones shouldn't. Behind us, the shrine slammed shut. Something inside it screamed, not one voice, but many, all crying out together. And in that chaos, a thought hit me. We weren't the first family here. We were just the next. I don't remember how long we ran in circles that night. It felt like the house had no exits, just walls that breathed and whispered. Every door led back to the same room. The same shrine. The same smell of rotten beetle nut. Mom held me up with one arm, blood soaking her clothes. T was convulsing again, his eyes rolled white. And Oot, she was giggling in the dark, whispering something I couldn't understand. Then I realized. She wasn't whispering. She was mimicking the old woman's voice. "Stay for free," she said softly. "Stay forever." Mom slapped her, hard, and screamed her name. But Oot only smiled, her baby teeth stained red. We could hear the crawling again. That scrape 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 on the ceiling. The thing, whatever she was, moved above us, dragging her nails across the tin roof. Mom dropped to her knees, chanting the great compassion mantra louder, voice shaking. Na Namo Dai Bai Chuan Am Bo Tat. The roof cracked. Dust rained down. Then she fell. Head first from the ceiling. She landed like a spider, limbs bent the wrong way, eyes glowing wet in the dark. The barbed wire holding her lips together snapped. And when she spoke, her voice wasn't hers anymore. It was Mrs. Tam's. "Why run, Chi Han? Didn't I tell you, my mother just wants company?" Mom backed away, dragging me with her. She reached for the rosary beads again, broken, blood-slit. "You're not human," she spat. And the thing. It laughed. The sound shook the house. The air thickened with the smell of burnt hair. Then the front door unlocked itself. The chain fell with a metallic clang. But before we could move, Mrs. Tam appeared in the doorway. Perfectly still. Perfectly human. Her raincoat dripping. "Where are you going?" she asked sweetly. Her smile was calm, kind. But her face began to split down the middle. From forehead to chin. Peeling open like wet paper. Inside was another face. Wrinkled. Rotting. Eyes sunk deep but alive. It was her mother. "Don't go," the inner face said. "We're almost full." Behind us, the shrine doors blew open again. And the dead crawled out. Not walking. Not floating. Just dragging, arms first, torsos half-formed, mouth stuffed with soil. Their eyes were gone. Their chests hollow. And each of them moaned the same word. 9. Mom pushed me forward. "Run," she screamed. But before she moved, something yanked her hair. The old woman's tongue, long as a snake, wrapped around her neck, pulling her back. Mom clawed at it, gasping, "A deed of fat." Her voice cut off. T lunged forward, hitting the creature with a burning candle. Flame caught the woman's hair, then her skin. But she didn't scream. She laughed. "Fire won't hurt the dead," she said. "Only truth does." Mom's eyes rolled up. Blood poured from her mouth as she shouted the last of the prayer. And the entire house shuddered. The shrine cracked down the middle. Something invisible, huge, heavy, grabbed the old woman by the hair and yanked her backward into the dark. The doors slammed shut. Chains wrapped themselves tight around it, one by one. Then, silence. Mom was still alive. Barely. She dragged herself toward me, her hands trembling. "Lean," she whispered. "If we get out, don't look back." I didn't. I carried Oot. I pulled T by the arm. And we ran through the open door. Into the rain. Behind us, the house groaned like something dying. Then it burst into flames, no gasoline, no spark, just fire, swallowing itself from the inside. Through the smoke, I saw her one last time. Mrs. Tam. Standing in the doorway, skin half melted, eyes bright with hunger. She smiled and said, "It's okay. You can leave. But the baby stays. My mother's waiting." Then the roof collapsed. We didn't stop running until the sun came up. Years later, I gave birth early, 7 months. The baby girl was small, cold, and silent. She had no nose. Her eyes were black. And right in the middle of her forehead was a tiny hole, like a bullet wound. She died 3 days later, at 2:43 a.m., the same minute the shrine had opened. Sometimes, when I can't sleep, I hear a knock at my window. 3 soft taps. And a voice, warm and kind, whispering through the rain. "My house is still empty, Lean. Want to stay, for free?"